Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday, and I have a special guest in the house today. So I have Renford Marsden, who's coming to us all the way from England. And so before we get stuck in with our topic today, Renford, can you, let me tell everybody what the topic is. So we're talking about changing careers after 50, and you don't have to be 50 to be in the show today and learning about this because it applies to everybody. But Renford, before we get stuck in, can you please briefly introduce yourself and tell people who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'm Renford Marsden. I'm the founder of Wordsmith and Paper Limited in England, and I'm a second book author. My latest book is a 50 plus job seeker footprint. It's on Amazon, and it tells a story and it supports the 50 plus age group
I
looking
love
for
it.
work.
I love it. I love it. So, welcome to the show today. And this is an amazing topic because it relates to careers, which could be maybe you're searching for a job, maybe you want to change what you're doing. You get to a particular point in your life and you're like, okay, it's time to finally do the thing that I've always wanted to do. Maybe it's about running a business. There's so many different things that changing careers could be. Maybe you've been not in the job market for a long time. Maybe you've been, basically a stay-at-home parent and all of a sudden you got an empty nest and you want to all of a sudden get back into the swing of things. So Renford, why don't you step us back? And you wrote this book, which is specifically for this age category. Why don't you tell us, why did you write the book in the first place? Because I think that would be an interesting thing to know.
Um, I think the crunch time for me was I was 57 and I was out of work again, and I went to the job centre, which is the labour exchange here, and they were really having problems um, getting me a job, you know. So in the end, I said, "How about if I go to McDonald's and I see if they can give me a job?" So I went to the local McDonald's, which was in Bognor Regis, which is on the South England coastline, and I walked in and they knew obviously straight away I was old, and they interviewed me, and I got the job in McDonald's. Um, and I used to turn up every morning shift to do the breakfasts, cooking, and then I'd do the washing up towards the end of my shift. So I just got stuck in and did what was expected of me, but it I realised it wasn't a long term plan. So I had I signed up for a course, and it was a distance learning to learn digital marketing. I didn't have a Scooby Doo about digital marketing, and I was broke, so I was paying it off every month, and basically that kept me going. And then I set up my company um, at the same time, and I started looking for work. Um, and basically that's where it all began, really, back in 2017. And I qualified with that qualification in 2019, and basically it was obviously a year before the pandemic, and it was really good. And it was an exciting time learning all this new technology, and now I love it. I just do stuff on LinkedIn. I make things on movies. I created a trademark during the pandemic. Um, I There was nothing going on. We were on lockdown, and I created three words: the trainer explainer. And I made an application to the patents office, and in the autumn of 2020, they said I'd got the trademark. So So yeah, it was exciting times. So I wrote a book about that last year, um, um, and it was called Ideas Stolen, UK Trademark Needed. And I wrote about the journey, and I wrote about helping people to understand what to do, similar to what I've done with a 50 plus job seeker footprint.
That's terrific. And I love, I want to just unpack your story here. I love that you were humble enough to say, okay, I need money. I need to work. And sometimes we have to go do, it's humbling to go and work at McDonald's when you're a professional. And yet you did it with the eye on, this is temporary. And I think that that's the main thing to unpack there, that sometimes we have to take a step back before we can take a step forward, because we have to deal with what's going on in the present moment. And I love that you didn't just say, well, that's it now, I guess I'll just be working at McDonald's for the rest of my life. It's like you said, okay, that's what I have to do today. But you had a focused future mindset of what could be. And then you became resourceful by recognizing, okay, I need to retool, I need to reschool, and you signed up for your course. And it sounds like it wasn't free. It sounds like you had to pay for that training.
Shall
And
I break it to you?
yes,
It was over £3,000 for this course, and that was hard at the time. I won't shy from it. It was a struggle on top of earning very little money. Um, but I had my mindset. I used to spend nights, weekends. My wife was very understanding, and I don't know where this inner energy came from. I just wanted to show that lifelong learning is out there if you grasp the nettle and go for it, you know. And it was a proud day when I went to collect my certificate, and they interviewed me, and it went on YouTube, the interview. And I just said I wanted a recognized qualification, and I wanted to put it into practice.
wow. Wow, that's amazing. And, I've been there too, where I've gone and signed up for courses. And I remember once I signed up for a Tony Robbins coaching program, and I had to cough up almost $5,000 for that. And I remember just kind of going, I don't have the money to do this, but I wanted the skill set of being a good coach that knew how to work and help people. And so it was just that belief that I know that I wouldn't be led to do this if it wasn't for my own, best interest. And it was like, I had to kind of like, it's like gambling on yourself. Here I am in Las Vegas. Gambling means totally something different. But when you gamble on yourself by saying, I'm going to take a risk here, that this is the right thing to do. So now going back in your time machine, I obviously, this course has helped you. So was that the right move for you to make?
Yeah, I I've put things into practice like the trademark. Um, I've I use Canva. I make things now that I never could have dreamed of
Mm.
before I turned 57. It's been an inspiration. The two books I've created, I've actually designed them at the desk I'm sitting at now. The book covers I've done myself. If anybody had told me all those years ago that you were going to do this sort of thing, I'd be saying, no, not me. That's not me at all. But the point is, I investigate things, I do research, and I thought I need certain tools to enable me to do this. And it's just about applying the mind to say, I'm going to get this right. And last year it was a learning curve with setting out the book in the software and designing a book cover. This year it was a lot easier because I had a model and I just concentrated on the plan and just wrote and wrote and wrote through the keyboard, um, all the things that were important that I'd learnt on the journey. And when you've got the technology, you've got the tool set, it makes it a lot easier. And both pieces of software from the United States. So Dave Chesson uh, founded Atticus.io, which is a piece of software for book writers, and then the book cover software is BookBrush.
Mm. And
Um,
they're sort of related. They're related, those two companies.
yeah. So the bottom line is, you have to listen, but you also have to say, right, now I must use them. I've spent money. I've got to try and use them. And then learning about publishing. Wow, there's so many nuances, and I had to really understand the metadata involved with this, because obviously an ISBN number looks like an ordinary 13-digit number, but it actually gives a lot of its history to the book, where it was sold and what classes it comes under. So it's been an interesting journey since 2017.
I love
And
it.
as I mentioned to you before we started, I used to travel to far-flung places, in the world, catch planes like I was catching buses. It was ridiculous. And now I work from this desk in a little house close to the coast, and it's a different world.
I love
And
that.
and that just shows you this. It's You just have to go with the flow, don't you? Really.
I love it. I love it. So let's take a couple of comments, and then I'd like to come back and talk about specific things on LinkedIn that could be helping anybody who's trying to go through this career change at 50 plus and younger, if you so choose. If you so choose. So let me see. So we have Jeff Young with us. Great topic, Gillian and Renford, especially for us youngsters. He's of Jeff Young, so of course he's a youngster. So I love it. I love it. A double pun. A double pun. Thanks, Jeff. We have Gail. Hi, Gillian, logging in from Barbados and happy to be here as a 50 plus chick. So I absolutely love this. And that's a nice thing about LinkedIn is that there are people of so many different ages. And I love that we can be on this platform 50 plus. We can be here in our 30s, our 40s, our 20s. Gosh, now you can be all the way down to 16, and then we can be sort of 90 plus as well. So I love that there is a camaraderie here for everyone on the platform. I think that's just absolutely brilliant. And I love that Jeff says she looks marvelous. She looks marvelous. So that's always so fun. That's always so fun. So we have Yana dropping a heart for all of us over 35. So see, we have different, and she's all the way over, I believe she's in Montenegro. So it just shows you that here we have Las Vegas, we have England, we have all the Barbados, we have the United States, we have so many countries coming together. So here we are in our separate little houses, but we're going global. So I just absolutely love that. Linda says this is a great topic, and it is a great topic. And it's interesting because you can kind of like, we could have gone negative and we could have talked about ageism, and we could have kind of said it's so hard. But the thing is that let's dwell on the positive. How do we keep that positive mindset and become more resourceful and utilize everything that we have out here on LinkedIn and the internet, tools, whatever. We're living in a great age, guys. Jeff Young says, I love Trainer Explainer. What a brand, Renford. And it's true. It's like anything that has alliteration or rhymes or whatever always is just like such a key thing. Love that mindset, Renford. I'm going to do this today at McDonald's to get where I need to be tomorrow. It's so true. It's like, just here's where we are today, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of the road. It's just that reality check of we have to do whatever we have to do to move forward and, be humble and but have that plan, have that plan. So Renford, let's take a moment to talk about some of our favorite LinkedIn resources that can help anybody who's listening to us today talking about 50 plus and making a career change. So I'm going to let you kick it off. What would you say is sort of your favorite resource on LinkedIn?
I loved the video attaching to the profile picture behind the scenes. Um, I know I shouldn't bring it up because it's a goner, but I hope they reconsider that because it was a window. I even had a go at doing a 30-second video or less. It was less. And then I added subtitles to it because I just love doing that and then putting it there. And I thought to myself, what a great resource to have, you know. Um, but something else I've only taught myself recently is the LinkedIn carousel. Now, the LinkedIn carousel for me, I did send a post out last week and I've got one ready for tomorrow. So I was designing it today and everything off a template. I think it's such a cool training tool. It doesn't have to be long. My one is 7 pages with an intro and an outro, front and back cover. But I I'm able to use that, and it's a 30-second snippet, but they call that micro learning now. I never heard that at school, but and I just think it gets the message across about things you're trying to ask them to do nicely to encourage them to give it a go. So so I think it's a great tool and so easy to do, you know. And I've got to say, I cheat because I use Canva. I I never knew about Canva until 2017, and I'm in and out of it every day. So you know, I think it's a brilliant piece of artistry. You know, easy to learn as a creative. So so that's my quickie
I love
on
that.
two things.
I love that. I love that. I'll do mine in a second. I just want to pull up Yana's comment. One thing that I appreciate, Gillian, and keep telling her over these years since we have known each other is vitality and willingness to learn, reinvent, explore, figure out, you name it. She will find the way. And we should all learn from her because she came in certain years, even just crossing 30s, we forget to play and open to novelties, to start over and meet new versions of ourselves. Heartfelt live today. So true. So true. And, you know, we are constantly reinventing. And I think that's one thing I really appreciate about LinkedIn is the LinkedIn learning portion, that there is so many, you know, for anybody who says, I don't know how to do something. So for instance, if you're talking about Canva, Canva is a fabulous tool. So for some of us, we just jumped in, we learned it. For other people, they're like, it's too much. I'm in overwhelm. I don't know how to use this. I've never used a graphic program. And it's like, when you compare it to like Photoshop or something, oh my God, that's so hard. Canva is truly easy. But for some people who are not tech savvy, it's not easy. And yet LinkedIn has Canva courses. There's a Canva group that you can go to and ask for support. So the learning resources on LinkedIn from LinkedIn Learning and the groups that are there on different tools is amazing. You can always find somebody to help you. And I don't know about England, but I know here in the United States, if you go to the public library, you can have access to LinkedIn Learning for free. So if you're on the free plan of LinkedIn, if you go to your local public library, you might be able to still access all those different programs and you can get certificates. So that's a really great way to educate yourself and reinvent yourself to get that career that you're looking for. So if you want to be a writer, if you want to be an artist, it's really not that far away, right, Renford?
It's true. I've actually put both my books out to the public libraries in the United Kingdom and Ireland, the whole island of Ireland. um, because I'm conscious that people can't afford things with the cost of living crisis. So the public lending library notified me by email this afternoon that the 50 plus job seeker footprint is going to now be in the libraries. So people can go in, and if they're in a difficult situation in their life, um, and they're worried about counting the pennies, they can at least click on the book in the library or be allowed to take it home, whatever the functionality is. But at least then they get access to learn,
I
which
love
was the
that.
idea of this.
I love that. And I love that you're writing books and that you're basically it's like sort of looking back and helping somebody back up the stairs. You know, it's like you're already moving up ahead in your life, in your world, and what you're doing. But when you write a book that it's like, okay, I'm gonna make the shortcut so you don't have to go through what I went through by if I share my knowledge with you. And one of the things that you did in your book, which I thought was very unique, was you referred to a LinkedIn resource, which was people. People. So you list several people that you called LinkedIn subject matter experts. I was very touched that you included me, so that was very kind of you. But how did you go about, first of all, even finding about people, but deciding who to put in your book as a resource?
I I looked at what the gifts they were delivering to the community because it's a worldwide community of business folk. You know, whatever wherever we come from, we all speak the same thing. We want to succeed and we want to learn at the same time. So I looked at all the countries that had this talent. You know, yourself and Kevin and others. I mean, I found a lady in Turkey, um, subject matter expert in recruitment, and there was another one in Belgium. Um, um, there was so many, and it was a difficult choice. But I did something else which was probably strange. I devoted a chapter to veterans,
Mm,
and I rang up a few charities and ones that were helping veterans, and I said what my idea was. So I devoted a complete chapter to their issue with finding work, and I listed all the places they could go to just by clicking on a link. It was a link away to hopefully sorting out helping them. So I had the SMEs, and then I had the chapter for the veterans. Um, but then they have a soft spot. I have a soft spot for them. I was in Afghanistan
mm,
on OPERIC as a civilian specialist, and I worked alongside them, and and I saw sad things,
mm.
and and I carried their their friendliness and everything else in my heart, and they protected me when I had to go from the green zone into the red zone in Afghanistan, because uh, I had a body armor and a helmet on, and because obviously I was doing a job for them. So, so I felt the book should encompass everybody. That it's got to be inclusive, yes. So
Yes.
that was my focus was it can't be totally perfect, but I want it to be at least 90 something percent close to, um, and just basically see how it goes from there. And do you know, I'm getting people following the book page on LinkedIn. I created a showcase page, and I'm
Right.
having my followers are increasing now because I'm putting little stuff on it, supplementary to the book. And that's good. That's good use of LinkedIn because not many people, I guess, use showcase pages like that. But I used it for my first book, and I'm now using it for the second book. And it just makes sense because then they feel like they're valued, don't they? It's a continuity thing.
I love that. I love that. And I think that with LinkedIn, the people on this platform are so important for any of us on the journey, because sometimes we don't necessarily have that support in our home life. And so it can be, we want to seek people that can lift us up and support us on our journey, that are have a positive mindset. And it could be somebody's a mentor, but also sometimes people are just colleagues. They're going through the same thing as you. And if you can unite together, it's kind of like, I always laugh and say, if we hold hands, the journey is so much nicer when we can hold hands and go together. And I love LinkedIn because you can very easily be a fly on the wall of a conversation of, like, when I started on LinkedIn, I would just look at what were people talking about, and I just listened. I would consume content, and I began to see, I like what that person says. So it's like, I like Ella. Ella's nice. She always has nice comments. And then I would follow Ella. And then one day I spoke with Ella, and now Ella is a friend. But this is the way that you can do this in a very soft and gentle way, which is awesome for introverts like me.
And I didn't realize I was an introvert. Doing this sort of thing doesn't come naturally. Um, Public speaking doesn't come naturally, but when you're in a classroom, it's a form of public speaking. And when I was in the classroom teaching adults, because I got a teaching qualification in my 40s, I had to go to night school for that. I had to spend evenings at night school. I mean, people don't probably hear those two words anymore, but when I was growing up, after you left school, that was the only way to get extra qualifications, is go to night school. And so when I've been in the classroom with teaching adults, it's quite stimulating, and you learn to make learning fun. And you've just clearly illustrated that learning can be fun, and it then makes it more interesting in the same way. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's hop in and get a few more comments. We have Marcia saying, Renford Gillian, I had to work my part-time job on a full-time basis for 1 year. Yes, it was a step back, but pride is not in my wallet. Oh my gosh, what a great quote. And this lady, she's doing LinkedIn audio events now. And Marcia, you got a book in you. So we're gonna have to get you with Renford and get you learn it on how to get your word out there. And I think this is Tina might be one of the people you mentioned in your book.
Tina is on my list as a subject matter expert. Forgive me if I've got the wrong European country, but I think she's based in Belgium.
Belgium. Yep.
And and I sent her a copy of the book, like I did to yourself, digitally. And I just think she's fab. So there you go, Tina. It's nice to meet you.
Yay. And here she is. Here she is. The best time to change careers is now, while we are still alive. Your narrative is important to explain your motivation. What a fabulous quote. What a fabulous quote. And Tina is so supportive of so many people, and she is an excellent recruiter. Everybody should be following Tina. She's just hands down. Absolutely love her. Absolutely love her. So, Renford, we're almost at our 30-minute mark. And so, what I want to do now is, would you like to kind of close us out with any kind of final words of wisdom or takeaway that you'd like us all to know about?
One of my quotes in the book is an old word, naysayers. And I honestly, truly believe, do not listen to naysayers. Don't let them get into your head, because the bottom line is, anybody that's in a difficult situation and no job, they can they can only think positive thoughts, like I had to do, and turn it around. So leave the naysayers at the front door and close the door. There's my little quote.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I just love that. I love that. So, thank you so much for being here today, Renford. It's just been awesome. Thank you, everybody who has joined us. This is an important discussion. We just need to keep on moving forward with this. Like you said, don't let those turkeys get us down. We need to soar with those eagles instead. I love that. I love that. Okay, well, bye everybody, and we'll see you back here next week. And thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.